Welcome back to STON Talk. Today, I'm joined by Kyle, and I want to kick things off with a question that I've been seeing more and more lately. Has STON.fi already won the DEX race on ton? Now, before anybody gets angry in the comments, we're not saying the race is over. We're not saying nobody else can compete. We're just asking the question. Because when you look around the ecosystem today, STON.fi is usually one of the first names people mention. So Kyle, what's your first reaction when you hear that question?
Honestly, my first reaction is that people probably use the word won too casually, because winning sounds permanent, and nothing in crypto feels permanent.
That's true. Crypto has a habit of humbling people.
Exactly. Every cycle, there are projects that people think are untouchable. Then a few years later, the conversation looks completely different. So, I don't think I'd ever say someone has won forever.
So let me rephrase the question. Has STON.fi built a position that most projects in the ecosystem would love to have?
Absolutely. I don't think there's much debate about that. If you've spent any time in the ton ecosystem, you've probably interacted with STON.fi at some point. And that's not something that happens by accident.
What do you think got them there?
I think it's a combination of timing, execution, and consistency. A lot of teams have good ideas. A lot of teams launch products. The difficult part is continuing to build year after year.
You know what's interesting? When people tell the story of successful crypto projects, they often make it sound like one big moment changed everything. One launch, one partnership, one announcement. But in reality, it usually seems much slower than that.
I completely agree. Success usually looks boring when you're living through it. It's small improvements, it's showing up every day, it's building trust over time. Then one day people look back and say, wow, they've come a long way.
Trust is an interesting word because I think trust is probably one of the hardest things to measure. You can measure volume, you can measure users, you can measure transactions. How do you measure trust?
You can't really measure it directly, but you can see the effects. People keep coming back, projects keep integrating, communities keep participating. Those are usually signs that trust is being built.
Let's talk about competition for a minute. Because whenever a project becomes successful, somebody eventually tries to challenge it. That's just how markets work.
Of course, competition is inevitable. And honestly, competition isn't a bad thing. Competition forces projects to improve.
So what would a serious competitor need to do? Let's imagine a team launches tomorrow. How do they get people to pay attention?
First, they'd need a genuinely better experience. Not just a different experience, a better one. Because convincing people to switch platforms is difficult. Most users won't move unless there's a very clear reason.
That's actually something people underestimate. Changing habits is hard.
Very hard. Once users become comfortable with something, the bar for switching becomes much higher.
What about incentives? Could a competitor simply throw rewards at users and attract attention?
Maybe in the short term, we've seen that happen before, but incentives can attract users. They don't always keep users. Long-term success usually comes from delivering value consistently.
That's a good distinction. Attracting users and keeping users are completely different challenges.
Exactly. And honestly, I think keeping users is much harder.
Let's flip the conversation. Instead of talking about competitors, let's talk about STON.fi itself. What do you think is the biggest risk for a project that's already in a strong position?
Complacency. Without question.
Really?
Absolutely. The moment a team starts believing their position is guaranteed, that's when problems begin. The ecosystem keeps moving. User expectations change. Technology changes. Competition changes. You have to keep adapting.
That's actually something I think applies beyond crypto. Success creates new challenges.
It does. Getting to the top is one challenge. Staying there is another challenge entirely.
And maybe that's why I'm hesitant to use the word won. Because winning implies the work is finished.
Exactly. And in crypto, the work is never finished.
Let's look ahead a little. Imagine we're sitting here 3 years from now. What would success look like for STON.fi?
For me, success isn't just bigger numbers. It's becoming even more deeply connected to the ecosystem, being something users rely on, being something builders trust, continuing to create value as the ecosystem grows.
That's interesting, because you didn't mention volume once.
Because volume alone doesn't tell the whole story. You can have impressive numbers for a short period of time. The real question is whether you're creating lasting value.
And maybe that's the best way to answer today's question. Instead of asking whether STON.fi has won, maybe we should ask whether it's continuing to earn its position.
I think that's exactly the right question.
Because positions can be gained, positions can be lost. But earning trust, earning relevance, and continuing to deliver value, that's the real challenge.
And that's the challenge every successful project eventually faces.
Well said, and I think that's a great place to end today's conversation. Let us know what you think. Has STON.fi already established itself as the leading name in ton DeFi? Or do you think the most important part of its journey is still ahead? Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you in the next episode of STON Talk.